Hey guys, how's it going? So today's video is going to be slightly different to what I've done in the past, and I'm going to be reviewing a bit of tech. When I say tech, I mean big boys toys. This here is an electric scooter. No, it's not. I keep calling it an electric scooter. It's a skateboard, you spaz. So this here is an electric skateboard that my friend kindly let me borrow. It's actually his son's. I think he's about 10 and about 4 foot, so I was kind of dubious whether this would be any good for somebody who's 6'3" and about 13 stone. At first glance it looks like a skateboard. It's not particularly heavy, it's got some decent sized wheels. If I'm completely honest, it was actually quite fun. Jesus. This is basically a Zinc electric skateboard. You can pick these up in the UK from, I think Argos is the main seller, for about £110. I think they've got them for at the moment. I do believe they were about 140 a couple of months ago, but they've just chopped them down. So if you're in the market for an electric skateboard, this little baby here is probably a great way to start. It does have its faults, but it does have quite a few pluses as well. If we start off with the faults, really start being a bit picky, it's very small. In perspective, this is my trainer and this is the skateboard. As you can see, my trainer is almost as big as the skateboard. So this size 10 trainer, nothing, you know, I haven't got freaky size feet or anything, just an average size 10, almost takes up the whole width of the board. So you've got to try and get 2 of those big feet on this tiny little deck. So that was a bit of a challenge and took me a while to get my head around it. So not really been on a skateboard properly really since I was a kid. I had a little dabble with a normal skateboard last year, which didn't end very well. Nothing broke, but just wasn't as good as I used to be when I was a kid. Oh, so this has just turned itself on. I'll get to that in a minute. So let's carry on being a bit picky. So obviously the deck is very small, but if you're a 10-year-old kid that's about 3 or 4 foot, it's perfect. It's not particularly fast, and when I say that, my pal that I was out with, his skateboard goes about 21 mile an hour.
Ready? Road race. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Whoa, Jesus Christ! Ah! This is quite scary, really. This one goes about 10 mile an hour, which I think that's about right, really. Maybe 15 tops would have been good once you're used to it. But me personally, once I got to 10 mile an hour, I was a bit wobbly anyway, so it was, that's as good as I wanted to get. Well, trucks and wheels are decent size. I do think the battery is a little bit weak for compared to others. I think this is where the price is the way it is, as in, it's £110. You get what you pay for, and that saying is true. So this is it's got a lithium ion battery in it, which is a 2 amp 25.2 volt, which is quite low, but I must admit it charged within probably about an hour and a half. It went from like virtually flat to fully charged within an hour. So again, that's not too bad. So I took this out with my boy and we went up and down the redways of Milton Keynes, and I reckon I got about 2 miles, maybe 2.5 miles, which to be honest with you was a little bit of a letdown. I was wanting something that could do about 8 mile, really. 6 to 8 mile would have been perfect, but I don't know whether that's possible with something as small as this. Keeping on with the bad points, the trucks are ridiculously soft, and they could do with being harder. So I'm not sure whether that's going to be a case of replacing this rubber seal here for a harder one. Would have probably helped. So as I'm driving, I'm constantly wobbling, which being a small deck,
and wobbling. It was very hard to control. It did take me a while to get my head around it, but once I had, I kind of, you know, become quite comfortable on it. And I think that's pretty much it for the bad points. If, like me, I'm still toying with the idea of actually purchasing one of these, and what I'm planning on doing is taking off the trucks and the motors with the battery pack and actually fitting it on this skateboard here, because I bought that last year for about £100, I think. I really like it. I think it looks really cool, but I just, all that pushing malarkey is just a bit boring for me, a bit too much like hard work, so this wasn't for me. So I kind of, you know, hung it up, and that's where it stayed since. So I'd like to get that back on the go, and I do think if I was to purchase one of these and take all this off, you know, and fit it on there, I've done it again. So if I was to purchase one of these, take off the trucks, the battery, and the and just fit it on my skateboard, I do think I'd probably start using it a lot more than I do. Obviously it's not going to cost me any more money because I've basically got it sat there doing nothing anyway. So if you are looking at getting one of these and you find that your deck is too small for you, I do believe it's very easy to just whip these off. Probably a couple of bolts here, obviously 4 bolts on each truck, and then just line it up with your original deck holes and screws, and then you're away. You might have to change the grip tape. Obviously don't just waste the deck. You could always use it as a bookshelf or just a shelf that you could hang stuff on. It always looks pretty cool when you've got, you know, like a skateboard deck as a shelf. So it comes in handy. So again, no wastage, obviously always thinking. So let's get to the good points. I do like the fact that you turn the wheels and it actually comes on straight away. That's a nice little touch. So the electric skateboard has this little controller, which literally turns on by this bottom button here. Just hold it in, and obviously once your skateboard's on, it just links up perfectly together. You've got a reverse button here, which you just obviously click it, and it whacks it in reverse. And then you've got your up and down control, which is obviously your speed. You've got 3 modes. You've got low, medium, and high. Low mode was very slow, to the point where it's hardly worth using it. Medium was, to be honest with you, about right, and then high, it does get some good speed with high.
1, 2, 3, go. Whoa, 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 whoa.
No, I've got to win this.
No, my board's not even on. My board's not even on.
The winner.
What the? Come on, my board's not on. False start. False start. That was a false start.
The only thing you'll find is once it's in high, it does start chewing up your battery. So you've got battery indicators here. If it's in your high mode, it pretty much chews your battery and it will start dropping very quickly. So if I was you, I'd, you know, whack it in medium, use it. If it's, you know, if you're coming up to a hill, maybe whack it in high, and they get you up the hill pretty quick. One of the other things I've found is when it's in high mode, the brakes are a lot sharper, a lot more responsive, and you've got that takes some getting used to because it can pretty much throw you off. So what I started doing was, while I was in high, if I put it into medium when I knew I was about to brake, start braking in medium, it was a lot more, it was slower and not as sharp, so you wasn't getting, like, felt like you was going to get thrown off the board, rather than just going from like all the way on to off, because it will feel like you're going to get thrown off, and you probably could very easy. What I was doing was like literally pulsing the brakes, so just like as you're coming up to a stop, just tap it back a few times, and that will, it won't take you to a grinding halt, it will actually sort of start slowing down, and you'll feel the deck and the way to do it. But I found that worked quite well. Some top tips I would say, bear in mind I've only been out on it twice. Keep it in medium. Push yourself off rather than try and go from a standstill, and letting the obviously the motor do all the work. If you just push yourself off like you would a normal skateboard, and then once you're rolling along, then obviously you can start using this. And then the other thing that you would probably want to do to obviously save a bit of battery life is rather than hold your speed down the whole time you're on it, if you get up to a decent speed, just take your thumb off of it and let it roll, and then as you start to gradually slow down, just whack it up again and you will start speeding up like you would a normal skateboard where you're standing on it, and as it slows down you start pushing yourself. By doing this you're going to save battery and obviously get a lot more distance out of your skateboard, probably to the point where I reckon you could, if you did it like that, you'd probably get about 3 or 4 miles out of it. So the controller is rechargeable as well, which is always handy, so you can charge it up via USB, so you could literally plug it into your telly or into your laptop, or obviously into your mains. That doesn't take long to charge at all. You're probably looking at about 30 minutes, and again the board took about an hour to charge from virtually flat to fully charged. So I do think this would be a great introduction board to the electric skateboard world. So overall, the Zinc board is great fun, cheap as chips, very reliable from what I can gather. There was no horror stories with it. So if you're looking at getting electric skateboard but don't want to spend too much money, I do think this would be perfect. It'd be nice if they did another model, to be honest with you, slightly bigger, maybe 2 motors, and obviously a bigger battery would be perfect. As always guys, thank you for watching. This has been my little review on a kid's electric skateboard that big kids could probably get away with using as well. As always guys, give us a thumbs up, subscribe somewhere down the bottom, and I will catch you in the next one.